What's up everybody, welcome to Altcoin Nexus, and welcome to this video in which we'll do a full review. I'll try to keep it simple, but we will go over everything I think you need to know about Aerodrome. Alright, Aerodrome right now is the biggest protocol on the base network, has a market cap of over $500 million, but I think realistically we can still 10x. I'll tell you why. Personally, I'm not holding Aero yet, so this is not some sort of a promotion or a shill of tokens that I hold. But no, I know Aerodrome has a very tight community. A lot of people are talking about it. Base is one of the fastest growing networks, and this is the biggest decentralized application, biggest protocol in there. Therefore, it's interesting. So in general, that's why I wanted to give you an overview, and then at the end, you'll be able to form your own opinion. So let's get right into it. So first of all, we need to know a little bit more about Aerodrome, alright? So Aerodrome is a protocol on Base, have their own token called AERO, which, like I said, has a $560 million market cap. Supply right now is just under 500 million tokens in circulation. But Aerodrome, it's very easy to talk about what it is, because it's basically a decentralized application. All right, you can do two things, and they do have some interesting infrastructure and methods behind the scenes, which we'll get into in a moment. But no, you can swap tokens on the base network, and you can provide liquidity in liquidity pools for other people to swap certain tokens. And that's what it is. All right, that's Aerodrome. And in total, in all of those liquidity pools and the total value of the tokens locked on Aerodrome is over $700 million. All right, $720 million in total, to be specific. And with that, it's the biggest on Base. All right, you can see the second one is Uniswap, which has under $300 million. And like I said, and I'm trying to get into that a little bit already, but we'll get into why I think Aerodrome and the AERO token actually have potential. But we need to talk a little bit more about the technicals first, right? But apart from that, they're doing a lot of volume. You can see their total trading volume in the last month was over $640 million. And they're also, which I think is a great thing, they're collecting a lot of fees, all right? This is a protocol that's actually making revenue, actually making money, with the last month it being over $17 million. So that's basically what Aerodrome is, and some statistics, some numbers around it. And now let's actually get into some more specific details and also why I think AERO has potential. So one of the most interesting parts about Aerodrome, in my opinion, but also about holding AERO, are the tokenomics, all right? Because what you can do is that if you hold the AERO token, or if you buy the AERO token, you can lock it up, you can vest it, and then you actually gain, I believe almost all the fees actually go to AERO stakers. And you can stake it for up to 4 years, and the longer you stake it, the more voting weight you actually get, all right? And that voting weight allows you to vote, that allows you to gain more emissions and to just have governance over the protocol. And that is, it all comes back together, because that's very interesting, because they are actually making a lot of revenue. And the revenue of last month, $17.3 million, is even down 40% from the month before. So they were making even more money. Right now the volume in the markets just is lower, like there's nothing going on with Aerodrome. So that's very interesting, all right, that you can get those fees, because that means that there's a real utility and real value to holding the token. And then apart from that, when we look at the distribution, I think the distribution is great. The tokens for the Aerodrome team are max locked, so that's 4 years. I think from now on it's 3 years and like 3 months still that they're locked. That's a great sign, I think. That's a sign of a team that actually wants to build a great protocol. And apart from that, I don't think we need to go over this, over the distribution. But one thing I like a lot is the emission schedule, all right? Because what you can see right now, we're in epoch 40. So right here we are in the red line. And what you can see is that we have already had quite a lot of inflation. We'll still have inflation, so more tokens will be released into circulation, which means that your tokens theoretically become worth less. But since we already are in epoch 30, the amount of inflation we still have is limited. which is always great, all right? Because you don't want to enter at the start where still a lot of tokens are being given out to stakers, to all sorts of different parties. So that's what I think is interesting about the tokenomics. And that also brings us to why I think AERO has potential, which I will follow up by why I think it's or at least the cons, all right? So we'll go over some pros and cons right now. So one of the most interesting parts about Aerodrome, I think, is that right now it's the biggest decentralized exchange and the biggest protocol on Base. And I think Base has a lot of potential, all right? Base is obviously the network developed and created by Coinbase. And what we're seeing right now in the US is some sort of a tug of war between different political sides to be more pro-crypto. And if there's one winner in the US, if the US as a whole becomes more pro-crypto, it's Coinbase. So then obviously, or at least I would suspect, I would assume that the network they're developing also has more potential. Maybe we'll see some sort of a base coin at some point of time. Who knows? I'm not sure. That's pure speculation. But that means that protocols on Base, if Base actually gains that momentum and more potential, and you can see it's growing, protocols on there instantly have more potential as well. And the biggest protocol is Aerodrome. All right, so that's number one reason why I think we actually have potential to still 10x realistically, because that would be a $5 billion market cap, which I think is a possibility. And then apart from that, the tokenomics I like a lot, all right, with the revenue sharing, but also with the limited inflation here. The actual revenue, all right, so it's a protocol that's actually making money, and there's no reason to suspect that will stop. And then last of all, like I said at the start as well, I think that Aerodrome has a very strong community, and that cannot be underestimated. All right, a strong community in crypto is one of the most important things to have. So that's why I think Aerodrome has a lot of potential. That's also why I will look into buying this. But we have to be realistic as well, and we also have to talk about some things that work less well or that are not that great. So let's finish with that. All right, so there's two things that I don't necessarily like about Aerodrome, and that's first of all the price action in general. Now, obviously, a lot of these AERO tokens are locked up, all right? So that's why the volume is relatively low. But if you look at this price action, usually there's not that much going on, all right? Which I would suspect that Aerodrome, the project and the token with the community it has, I would suspect that there was more volatility and more trading. So that I don't like that much. Now, does this matter a lot? No. But what I do think matters more is the protection that Aerodrome has, all right? So companies usually want to have a moat, all right? So protection that other companies cannot do the same. And if I talk about Aerodrome, look, it's interesting what they're doing with the tokenomics, and the biggest protocol is always difficult to kind of push off of the throne. That's possible. That's definitely true. But then when we're talking about Uniswap, which is also putting in that proposal that they're going to share the fees, etc., I'm not sure if over the long term, Aerodrome is going to be able to hold the number one position. And Aerodrome being the number one protocol on Base is very important. So that's something I worry about. For now, I don't see any protocol that's really challenging Aerodrome. But over the long term, I think that's something we should talk about. And also something that's very important. All right. So with that, we reached the end of the video. Hopefully now you know a little bit more about Aerodrome Finance. You know the tokenomics. You know more about the AERO token. You know what's great about it. You know some possible downfalls. So you can make your own opinion. All right. I think most of you already are bullish on AERO, but think about it again. All right. I'm bullish on it as well, but it cannot hurt to be a little bit realistic. So for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.